Alrighty then. It's been a long time since I put anything up. When I do, probably going to be a bunch of stuff. I don't know. But I have to be careful what I put up now. I had to sign a whole bunch of agreements about social media, um, watching what I put up, and that kind of stuff. And the places where I'm at, social media is totally blocked, so couldn't really if I wanted to. Um, Hopefully I've put my passwords, audio, up by now, and you know what happened there. But I'm in another place. When I left Dallas, this is where I came to. I came here the beginning of April, end of May, beginning of April, right after I put up that last video. I was here for 4 weeks. 4 weeks? 3 weeks at least. And then I was shipped to another state for training. And the state that they shipped me to, nothing but helicopters. But not where I was training, they were just there. I don't have nothing to do with no helicopters. But they were across the street. And they had like one medevac helicopter there, one sheriff's helicopter there. There was one large prop plane. It wasn't old, it was new. It was like cargo. And then there was a bunch of little Cessnas, very small ones. And then, of course, there's always the executive jet that was on the other side. And there were some Homeland Security trailers there and that kind of stuff, and there was some pretty tight security around there, a little area. And then all the rest were helicopters. I'm not a expert or anything. They kind of look like the Blackhawks, but the Blackhawks have that big disc with about 12 rotors hanging off of it. These only had about 8 rotors, and I haven't looked them up on Google or nothing. I don't know what kind they were. They were all black. Even the numbers were in black, because you couldn't read no numbers, no nothing. There was no insignia, no nothing on them. And anyway, it was an interesting time. And that place, I was the only person there at nighttime. And I'd walk the fence line, putting little traps there, see if anybody came close to the fence. And that kind of stuff. And one night while I was doing that, I almost walked on a moccasin. Like I said, I know about rattlers. I don't know nothing about these moccasins and, that kind of stuff. But it was interesting. I didn't disturb him. I would have if I would have kept walking, but I ran back to my area to get my camera and my phone, or my my phone. I ran back to get my phone and my flashlight. And by the time I got back, he was gone. And when I came back to the spot where he was, let's say he was right here in my path, I looked this way across the fence line, and it was like right here. There was 2 little tiny bunnies about the size of not even as big as a softball. They were just little tiny babies. But anyway, at this other compound, place, whatever, with the helicopters, I'd walk there at nighttime, and like I said, I was the only one there, and I'd be setting my little traps and tripwires and stuff like that, and these guys in the helicopters would hang over me like they were practicing or something. You know, SEAL Team 6 is going to jump out of the helicopter and rappel down to the ground, something. But they came inside one time, and they dipped below the fence line on the inside of the compound, and they were doing it enough until I ran and got my camera, and then they didn't do it anymore. It was funny. I should have known. Look at the size of this stump right there. Look how big that is. Damn it! That was a big tree. And you can tell these are bent outwards. That's to keep people out, not to keep people in. Got a little water around the place. Don't ask me if there's any alligators. I don't know. In this other state I was at, I was looking for them constantly, because I wanted to trip across one in the wild and just see what that experience would be like, to just be walking along minding my own business, and all of a sudden there's a 6-foot alligator, 8-foot alligator or something, I don't know. But at that place I was at, I'd take off into the woods, and surrounding it, at that place, where that grass line is like where the woods started. They were right up against the fence line almost, with just a walkway for fence inspection on the outside, which is where I'd be putting all my little traps at. And of course I'd avoid putting them in game trails and that kind of stuff, places where I knew the animals come by. But I went into the woods around that compound, and I found cameras in the trees, about 20 foot up, pointed down, pointed out, pointed over here. There was one that was pointed in a certain direction, and I could not figure out what it was looking at. I could not figure it out. I couldn't climb all the way up to the camera, but I could climb about halfway up. And when I climbed about halfway up, I couldn't see anything that camera might be staring at, but it was fixed. It was, it didn't come loose and hang at a funny angle. It was pointed somewhere intentionally, and what it was looking at I never could figure out. But anyway, I got somebody walking right here behind me. I'm gonna shut this down for right now until he goes by.